Hi, welcome to the Solaris Wellness channel, where we discuss everything pertaining to trauma healing, parenting, relationships, personal growth, and development, all from the wellness perspective. You might be wondering, who's this weird person with an afro and a weird accent in front of me? Well, my name is Sharon Rose. I'm a specialist wellness counselor, and this accent is from South Africa. Step parenting is often seen as a thankless job because you are expected to sacrifice your time, money, and efforts in order to help your partner raise these kids to become functioning members of society. But you come in as an outsider and you hope to bring this family as a unit in order to function properly. But what happens when you've been accepted into this family as a mother or a father, but then all of a sudden everything falls to pieces? Well, this is what this story is going to be about. But before we start this video, I'd like to make a disclaimer that this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Everything that I say is my own opinion, although I would like to know your opinions in the comment section below. Please do not show hate to anybody, be kind to everybody, and most importantly to yourselves. Alright, get ready, get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's dive in. So, OP is a 30-year-old woman who's been married to her husband, who's 34 years old, for 6 years. When they met, the husband already had twins, a boy and a girl, who are 16 years old at the time that OP posted this on Reddit. The thing is that the biological mother had not been in their lives since the kids were about 8 years old. So OP met her husband about 1.5 years after the biological mother left. When they saw that the relationship was getting serious and it was moving towards marriage, they decided to go for family therapy. That means that it was OP, the husband, and the 2 kids. And because OP understood and was respectful of the fact that the kids were apprehensive about her moving into the family and joining the family as a permanent parental figure, OP assured the kids during the therapy sessions that she was not going to try to be their mom, nor try to replace their biological mother. So according to OP, for these 6 years, everything was great. Yes, the family had their ups and downs and they had obstacles to overcome as a family, but generally it was great up until the biological mother returned. According to OP, the kids were very excited, and OP actually encouraged the kids to have a positive relationship with the biological mother. And for about 6 months, everything was going well until everything started falling apart, brick by brick. The first change that OP noticed was that the kids stopped calling her mom. Instead, they started calling her by her real name. Not Auntie OP, not Mom OP, just OP. She admits that it was hurtful, but at the same time, she understood, and that is why she didn't make a big deal out of it. Then they started rebelling against the house rules. They started rebelling against curfew rules. They stopped cleaning after themselves, and they stopped doing their chores. And when OP tried to enforce those rules, they started back-chatting her, telling her that she's not their real mom and that the biological mother left because of her, which is not true because OP said that they met about 1.5 years after the biological mother left. And now that the biological mother is back, they don't need her anymore. Everything came to a head 3 weeks before OP posted on Reddit. Although OP does not say what the argument was about or how it even started, but ultimately the stepson called her the B word. As a disciplinary measure, OP confiscated his phone and told him to go to his room until the father comes back from work. Instead, the stepson stormed out of the house and went to his biological mom. Now, before OP could gather herself and make sense of what just happened, the biological mother was in the house. So an argument ensued between OP and the biological mother. It got to a point where the biological mother tried to physically assault OP. So OP shoved her out of the house, and then that's when the stepdaughter came in front of her and in her face and told her that if she ever put her hand on her mother again, she'll kick her butt. So this is where OP now decided to disengage from all her parental responsibilities. She stopped waking them up for school in the morning, which they ended up being late numerous times for school. She stopped taking them to sports and other extracurricular activities. And when the kids complained, she told them to ask their mother to do it. Now, the last thing that she did is that she told the kids and the husband that the Disney trip that they had planned for spring break was cancelled. They thought that she was just acting out and that she was bluffing. When it came time for her to do the usual vacation roundups as she usually did in the past, they actually realized that she was not bluffing at all. So this is where the kids became irate and started calling her names. They told her that she was jealous of their mother, that she was a horrible, selfish person, and used some very unsavory names. And all of this was done in front of the husband, who remained silent. So when OP turned to her husband to ask, "Aren't you gonna step in?" he looked at her and said, "Well, you did go too far. You shouldn't have canceled the trip." So this is where OP just decided this is just enough. So she went and packed a bag, left and went to stay at a hotel. Her husband kept on buzzing and blowing up her phone, trying to apologize and asking her to come back. 2 days later, the husband told her that the biological mother has once again abandoned the kids. So the kids were crying and apologizing and asking OP to come back. And OP told them that no, she doesn't believe that they're apologetic and that they don't understand how much they hurt her. She told her husband that she wants a divorce and that she'll come and get the rest of her stuff during the week. Except for that, they've got nothing else to talk about. So OP states that she does understand that the biological mother had a heavy hand in manipulating the kids. However, the way that they disrespected her, the way that they swore at her, called her names, and threatened her, for OP, that is inexcusable. However, she says that she's not contemplating divorcing her husband because of the kids, but rather because he failed to navigate the family through this difficult situation, and that her trust in her husband has just evaporated. All she wants is some time by herself to heal and to see a way forward. So my opinion about this case is this. Step parenting is often described as a thankless job. In most cases, the children have got two living parents, although they live separately, and those parents, they usually have equal rights in raising and parenting these kids. So the position of a step parent becomes a wild card. On one hand, you are expected to give your time, efforts, and sometimes contribute financially to the raising of these kids. I mean, why else would you get married to someone who has kids? But on the other hand, you are not allowed to have an opinion, or you're not involved in the decision making regarding how these kids should be raised. If you try to have that opinion, you are considered to be overstepping. And the most devastating part is that should the marriage dissolve, the step parent does not have any legal rights regarding the kids. So meaning that after years and years of putting hard work in raising these kids, you can just be shut off. So OP came into this family as an outsider, and this already formed family had already gone through betrayal trauma when the mother abandoned the kids. Even though the mother had not been physically present in the kids' lives, nor had any communication with them for about 1.5 years, they still knew that they had a mother somewhere out there in the world. So it was natural for them to gatekeep this position, this mom position, with the hope that when the mother returns, she will fill that role and the family will once again be whole. It seems like OP understood this, and that is why they decided to go for family therapy. The therapy seems to have worked because the relationship between OP and the kids started improving. And then it got to a point where the kids started to trust, respect, and value OP and open up this position to her, giving her the mom title. And so then OP moved from being in this thankless position to now being accepted into this family. She had an identity, she had a place, she had her responsibility. So this became her family. In my opinion, it doesn't seem like OP and the husband, they anticipated the biological mother returning. For me, this is not surprising because when everything is going great, as OP put it in the post, nobody wants to rock the boat or even channel negativity. I'm sure that it did cross OP's mind now and then, but it stayed at the back of her mind. Instead of it being voiced out, confronted, and OP and the husband taking measures to insulate their marriage, to protect their kids, and ultimately protect the family. Please understand, I'm not trying to be judgmental in any way. But as soon as the biological mother came back and she made it known that she wants to be part of their kids' lives, the adults should have consulted with a mediator, social worker, and a therapist, the triad, to discuss the intentions, expectations, and also come up with a solid parenting plan, taking into account that OP is also a parental figure in OP and the husband's home, where the kids mostly are. And only once everybody's on the same page and there's a solid plan in place, then the mother should have been granted slow access to the kids, starting with a phone call, and then maybe visitation, and then later on weekends, and so on and so on. Once the kids were notified that the biological mother had returned, OP and their husband should have organized for the kids to consult with a therapist or a social worker in order to help them navigate these emotions and the changes in their family dynamics. Instead, the kids got so excited that they decided to revoke the mom position from OP. And this is where you get to see how their mindset changed, because they saw OP, instead of seeing her as a loving mother, they now saw her as an obstacle and an enemy for their parents' reunification, which has always been their childhood hope. So that is why they started rebelling against every rule in the house. And when OP tried to discipline them as a mother, they told her straight that she's not their real mother, and now that their mother is back, they don't need her anymore. Once it was clear that the kids had no respect for OP's authority anymore, OP should have stepped down from the parenting position to a supportive position, and the biological father should have risen up as an authoritative voice to cover OP and to also bring discipline and order back into the home. Instead, OP doubled down in that authority position, and the kids stood firm in the position that the one OP got, even pushing back as much as they possibly could until everything came to a head. When everything exploded, the stepson realized that he was powerless. So the next best thing that he could think of doing was to go and get someone that he knew could match OP as an adult and even outrank OP as his biological mother. Now, instead of the biological mother coming with the intention of figuring out what happened and why the son was so upset, we can see that she had intention of fighting OP, fighting her out of the family. And then when everything exploded the way that it did and OP left, that position was now opened. And instead of her filling that role, she decided to run away. This, for me, it shows the real intention behind the biological mother's return. It was not to parent the kids or to be part of the kids' lives, but rather to show dominance over OP, to show her that she does not belong in that family and that she should go. And it also makes me wonder whether she really did have a heavy hand in manipulating these kids and weaponizing them against OP. I believe OP's decision to walk away from the marriage is valid. She got betrayed. Nobody can fault her for wanting to wash her hands off this marriage and this family and vow to never ever get married to someone who has kids. She can date someone who doesn't have kids, start her own family as the biological mom. However, this is a marriage, and every marriage goes through hard times, hardships, goes through pain. But as long as two people are willing to work together, then it can be fixed. OP invested 6 years into this marriage. 6 years in helping her husband raise these kids. And that is not easy to walk away from. I'm so glad, to be honest, that this happened. I'm not trying to be mean in any way or insensitive, but it shook that family. And they got to really look at themselves in the mirror. So what crumbled away? What got broken, but it can be fixed? And what is still standing? And OP and the husband, they can navigate through this with the help of couples counseling. But before that happens, I would suggest that OP consults with a therapist to help her deal with that pain that she's feeling. She can also discuss or navigate what her boundaries are, what she needs, and how she wants her husband to show up for her from now on. And then during couples counseling, she can voice those out and hear what her husband says and what he needs as well, and see if there's a way of cementing everything together. OP's position in this instance, in this case, is actually very advantageous for her, because while she's busy healing from that pain, she can also decide in what capacity she wants to be a parent to the kids. If she actually wants to, she can decide how much effort she wants to put in parenting, or if she wants to delegate most of the responsibility to her husband and then have some time to work on herself and to work on her marriage. On top of that, I would suggest that she also gets a support system around her, and she can ask her therapist about support groups for stepmothers that are available in her area. And if there aren't, then maybe also take up hobbies, new things that she has always wanted to participate in but never had the time before, because she was focused on raising these kids. So now she can have that time to engage in those hobbies and meet new people, and to grow as herself and to become a better version of herself. If she wants to study, she can talk to her husband about wanting to do that. So ultimately, she does have options for her. Instead of just walking away, she can use this opportunity to work on her marriage, make sure that it is solid, and to work on herself, make sure that she grows and she develops to become a better person. Okay guys, I'm afraid this is all we have time for. If you really like this video and you'd like to see more of the videos that are coming up, please subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification there so that you can get all the latest updates. As soon as we post, you'll get that notification. And until then, see you in the next video. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Bye.